Namaste from India, or perhaps I must say Dobar večer to all your friends in Bulgaria and Macedonia. Let me start by saying a huge thank you to Her Excellency Ms. Pooja Kapoor, the Honorable Ambassador of India in Bulgaria and North Macedonia. I have traveled across both Bulgaria and Macedonia. I have several really close friends there. And I love the beauty of your land and the warmth and kindness of your people. It is therefore a dream come true to be able to connect with our friends in these two great nations. Your Excellency, you have made this possible for me, and on behalf of my team at Home Yoga Guru, a big thank you from the bottom of my heart. There are two other people who I must mention, Mr. Rajesh Lal from the Indian Embassy and Dr. Mona Kaushik, the founder of Indo-Bulgarian Society for Arts and Culture, whose encouragement and support truly helped us plan this session. Over and above all this, the biggest ambassador for yoga is our Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi ji. Under his guidance and with the support of our Ministry of Ayush, the ancient science of yoga and Ayurveda now has the opportunity to touch the lives of millions of people, not just in India, but across the world. The World Yoga Day is therefore really important, and I'm sure that with the energy and enthusiasm from our Indian Embassy in Bulgaria and Macedonia, you will benefit from the knowledge and learnings of this ancient science. Well, my organization is called Home Yoga Guru, and we are a group of yoga practitioners who have dedicated ourselves to share the joys of yoga and the goodness of ancient wisdom of India with everyone across the globe. Well, why you ask? Because we have personally experienced its benefits, not just in relieving stress and improving our health, but in fact, it has helped us find meaning and purpose in our lives. We offer personal one-to-one yoga training which is tailored to your fitness goals and capability so that yoga can address your unique personal requirements. Today I would like to share with you all a little bit about the metaphysics of yoga and Ayurveda in times of COVID-19. The word metaphysics, what is it really? Meta in Greek means that which is beyond, and physics, as you know, is the study of matter and material principles that you see around. Therefore, metaphysical study or metaphysics is the examination of such principles that are beyond the material principles that we can commonly grasp or that are tangible. Questions like who are we? Where do we come from? What are we made up of? These are examples of questions we all ask ourselves, and these questions are not just the concerns of philosophers but also scientists and scholars right since the beginning of human beings, let's say. The Indian philosophical system of Sankhya is considered as one of the most ancient systems of the world, and it is more than 7,000 years old. The ancient sages who formulated the Sankhya system also spoke of these very questions. Who are we? Where do we come from? Where do we go from here? And how are we related with this world? And they had a beautiful way of understanding reality and our place in it. You see, they realized that we humans have 5 senses only, and it is with these 5 senses that we grasp the world. No matter what else may be there, unless our 5 senses can grasp them, it is as good as not being there. In this way, they formulated that for us humans, and that is the only world we can really ever know about, there are 5 elements that correspond to the 5 senses with which we perceive them. And everything we hear, see, feel, touch, see, taste, they have a corresponding sense object in the world. So 5 sense organs and 5 elements that are grasped by these 5 sense organs. And now these 5 elements go on to make the whole universe as we know it. Everything. Humans, other beings, rocks, stones, planets, solar system. So in a sense, the world that we can grasp ultimately is composed of these 5 elements, which we call the 5 Mahabhutas. Maha means great, Bhutas means elements. So the 5 great elements are ether or akasha, that can be understood as space maybe sometimes, Vayu or wind or air, Agni or fire, Jala or Apa, that is water, and earth or Prithvi. So these are the 5 elements that compose in different combinations and permutations this whole world as we know it and see it. Now, in that sense, there is very little difference between the world and us, because we are also made of the same things as the world. So according to this ancient system of Sankhya, and the man and the universe are like a reflection of each other. It's like, they call it the principle of Pindite Brahmandi, which means human beings are like the miniature version or a microcosm of the same world or the universe that is the macrocosm. So it is kind of an isomorphic relationship that man and universe share. Now, each of these elements combine, the 5 elements combine in different proportions, there are different combinations and permutations, and there are different things that you see around, including animate and inanimate world. So be it the larger heavenly bodies, the galaxies, or the tiniest knowable particles in terms of amoebas and the insects there. Everything is made up of these 5 elements. Now you may ask me, why is it that I am explaining this principle of Sankhya to us? The science of Yoga and Ayurveda are based on this very principle of the Sankhya. This is the foundation. So if we want to use Yoga and Ayurveda for our well-being and our life, we need to understand the very basic principles of these ways of life or philosophies. So, okay, Sankhya has suggested an answer in a way to a question like, what are we made up of? How about the other questions? Where did we come from? Where do we go? And is matter everything that there is? Is there something like consciousness? And how are we so different from one another as individuals, as the human race? And in our mind and in our habits, we are so different from the other living beings? Well, this is where the system explains how the 5 different elements combine with each other to create the 3 kinds of forces or factors, or let's say qualities, which govern a human being's makeup. These qualities are that of Sattva, Raja and Tama. Sattva has the character of positivity. It represents purity, goodness, peace, harmony, balance in everything. It covers aspects which are exactly opposite of Tamas. Sattva can be imagined as purity, as of the color of white, and Tamasa is black. It is exactly the opposite of Sattva, in the sense it's it's dark, its character is inertia, inactivity, sometimes even negativity. Rajasa, on the other hand, can be represented by fire, like that which represents action, motion. It has the character that represents potentiality. Now, when you say a potential, you know that it's a neutral word, in a sense that in which direction you channel this potentiality, it will be manifesting in that form. So if an individual uses this action, this principle of potential in a positive way, it can become a passion, for instance, in a sattvic way. Or if that becomes, let's say, if that gets channelized into a negative way, it will become, in a way, ignorance or pride or, things that are not very positive. So, Sattva, Raja and Tama together create our qualities and define how we act as an individual, because each of us have different levels of these three components. Now, the world is dynamic, and as the situation and circumstances around us change, mentally and physically, it will impact the levels of Sattva, Raja and Tama. If Rajas increases, it creates, let's say, restlessness. And when we channel it right, it translates into passion towards what we do. Similarly, when we feel the world is a dull, dark, gloomy place, when we feel depressed with our life and circumstances, it is likely that our tamas is acting up. Thus, our worldview and every individual's outlook is to a large extent defined by these three qualities, which are called as trigunas. Three is three, gunas is quality, sattva, raja and tama. At the same time, I'm sure you have noticed that even physically, not just our mental makeup, but physical makeup as well, is very different from each other. How are we different? While on one side we say that we are all made up of the same Panchamahabhutas. What is it that makes us different? Well, Yoga and Ayurveda follows the understanding of the Panchamahabhutic makeup of the universe and individual, which is why when the five elements come together, they are, let's say, coming together in different proportions, which is what gives each individual a defined or a very definite distinctness from each other. The functions of Vata, Pitta and Kapha, if I say these three words, they are almost synonymous with Ayurveda, I think. But because the five elements combine with each other to form the three functions of Vata, Pitta and Kapha, we have different makeups of individuals. Now, Vata is the principle of motion, and that's because it is formed from the two elements of ether and air, that is space and air. When they come together, Vata is produced. It is the organization of our vital balance. It sustains life in a way. In fact, it is Vata that differentiates an animate object from an inanimate object, a living being from a non-living being. And that's what Vata is. And at the same time, it is also the principle of motion. Pitta, on the other hand, is combined from Agni or fire and Jala or water. So, Pitta as a dosha is a combination of water and fire. It is the system that governs heat and energy within us and in the entire world as well. You can see that when it rains, it gets cold. When the sun is happy and shining, it gets warm. Similarly, when these two come together in the body, it gives rise to Pitta. And what does it take care of? What does the sun take care of? It breaks down things. It is the principle of assimilation. It is the principle of digestion. For instance, whatever material or whatever we use as nourishment for our body from outside, from the cosmos or from outside, we can't take it straight away the way it is. It is broken down, it is digested, it is assimilated, whether it is inside our system or outside. When you cook meat, it is ready for you to eat, right? When you're having salads, even before you cook it outside, the digestive fire within your system is going to be enough to break the food down, to assimilate and absorb the nutrients from it for your system. Now, this is the principle of assimilation on one side, and Vata is the principle of motion. Now, motion also means that the nutrients that are absorbed in the body need to be transferred or taken to the different parts of the body, throughout the body. Or, this is in a nutshell what Vata principle is. Kapha is the principle of creation. It is made up of water and earth. And as such, if you see, when you mix water and sand together, mud, what does it give you? It gives you something that's more stable. So the same characteristic it brings to your body as well. It's the principle that is used to create things, rejuvenation in the body, regeneration, everything. Suppose you get hurt, it's the principle of kapha that helps regenerate the skin or whatever you may have suffered from, for instance. Now you can imagine how Vata, the principle of motion, life force, and Pitta, the assimilation capability, and Kapha, the principle of creation and retaining form. The form of the body is thanks to Kapha. They come together and maintain this functional equilibrium of an individual. So depending on whether there is more Kapha, more Vata or more Pitta in an individual, the physical and the mental makeup of a person is going to change. So an individual is influenced and shaped by the balance of Sattva, Raja, Tamo on one hand and the balance of Vata, Pitta and Kapha on the other hand. Each of us are distinct and react differently to circumstances because each of us have a different composition of these forces within us. When these are maintained in equilibrium, despite the changes in the world around and in our own selves, we can experience happiness, equilibrium and harmony in general. This really is an important goal of Ayurveda and so that was the Trigunas and the Tridoshas. These are parameters of health, and as such for Yoga and Ayurveda, monitoring constantly and maintaining the balance of these factors is the focus. What is the definition of good life? It is a healthy, happy, long, fulfilling, exuberant and a positive life. And health is at the very foundation of this happy life. Our present times are a proof of the same. All this anxiety for well-being. It is the state of balance and harmony at a physical, mental, spiritual and a social level. Just like we see this harmony and balance in the cosmos or in the universe, like in the Vedas it's very beautifully known as the cosmic order called Riddha. Similarly, when there is order and balance between Trigunas and Tridoshas, it leads to a state of balance and well-being in an individual. This very definition encompasses all these four levels at which one needs to have stability and harmony. Now, how does this balance manifest itself within the human body? To understand this, we need to understand the concept of Tejasa, Prana and Ojasa. Tejas is the essence of Pitta that enables us to grasp and assimilate everything we perceive and receive. It helps an individual to actualize his creative potential. Prana signifies the life force within us. It is the essence of Vata that controls our mind and body and is responsible for physical and mental functions, all of them, including happiness that sustains our life. Ojasa is the essence of well-being. It is the supreme essence at a physical and a mental level. It is the one that is responsible for our immunity. Now, the current state of affairs and COVID-19 makes it very, very important for us to focus our energies on Ojasa and to see how we can increase our immunity. So I would like to share a bit more about this critical aspect of ourselves. To understand first what depletes our store of this vital life force or Ojasa and how it can be nourished, maintained, and the most important part, enhanced. There is Ojasa that an individual is born with. Ojasa that pervades in nature and can be derived by proper correlation and interaction with environment. Now this can be the source of our inner strength. At a physical level, there is Ojas that can be derived from eating nutritious food when it is consumed at the right time, in the right amount, in the right way. You can gain Ojas. Ojas can be increased in quantity by following a correct, wholesome and good lifestyle. At a mental level too, Ojasa can be enhanced through the right attitude towards life. If you develop patience and willpower, cultivate attention, being self-aware and mindful all the time, kindness and generosity, and the attitude that comes from knowledge of being connected with the world around us, and having in general this very positive way of life will enhance Ojas at a mental level. Ojas empowers individuals to hold all aspects of our life together. It helps us use our intellect to take a positive view of reality, understanding what is within us to change and accepting that what is beyond us to change, and maintaining the power of stillness and harmony within and outside. It helps us develop faith and remain open to possibilities. But the demands of modern life and urban living and bad lifestyles can also quickly deplete Ojas. Excess indulgence, excess stimulation of senses, excess activity can deplete Ojas, leading to distress and negativity in general. Today we are far removed from our natural state, living in concrete jungles of cities, consuming unhealthy foods and beverages, untimely work hours, and long nights of working and partying. These are the key reasons why Ojasa depletes. And as a result, we sink into not just depression, but disease and distress. Yes, I know what you're thinking right now. You're thinking that we are born into the 21st century and life is as it is. We cannot just go back to the old ways, although they may be healthy. So what can we really do to improve our Ojas and immunity while we live our life in this 21st century? Fortunately, the answer to all these questions lie in Yoga and Ayurveda too. We need to be mindful of the things we need to change and make those small deliberate changes. We have to make constant efforts to strive for balance, constant pursuit to stay in that balance once you achieve it. We have to adapt to the way of life that still will suit not just our situation but also our constitution. We should look at changing behaviors before we pop that pill or drug to which anyways our system will stop responding over a period of time. We should review our lifestyle. Food, sleep, work, engagements, exercise, and attitude that is healthy needs to be developed. At a physical level, eating nutritious food, choosing fresh food over packaged and processed food, and beverages that are right, getting adequate, deep and proper sleep to restore and rejuvenate our body and mind, proper and appropriate type of exercise done at proper time of the day, including certain breathing and meditation practices, are I'm sure you've heard too many times, but these are just some of the simple, amazing techniques that are within our reach and each one of us can make use of it. At a mental level too, developing a positive attitude towards life and being mindful of our choices and being mindful of our attitude, it really goes a long way to enhance ojas. In turn, it will also enhance our immunity, the most needed thing in the present times. Well, Yoga and Ayurveda provides each of us with this opportunity to stay on the path of preserving, curing and maintaining our life. It shows us the way forward, a way out of this crisis, because it is upon each of us to differentiate between what is desirable and that what is beneficial. Happiness, they say, is being prepared for an eventuality. COVID-19 is not the first nor the last pandemic that mankind will face. Let us therefore consider positive lifestyle changes to improve our life force and make ourselves resilient. Start today, I would say. Look at your life choices and ask yourself really honestly, is this action or attitude going to help you? Or ask yourself, is it going to help me become a better person, a stronger, more harmonious individual? I believe you will find the answer within yourself. Friends, I now come to the very last point of our discussion for today. You see, most people in the world, when they think of yoga, they think of it as twisted postures with strange names. What with so much of exhibitionist attitude around. In fact, it is anything but that. Yoga and Ayurveda is a deep and holistic system. It has a highly systematic and clear perception of the world. And those twisted postures are but a small fragment of the world of yoga. I hope my discussion today will make you curious about this way of life, about the wisdom that has accumulated over thousands of years from ancient India, and I hope you will find in it beauty and harmony that many of us find. There is another aspect of yoga that is less glamorous and much less talked about. It is about the yogic understanding of the energy centers, or like we popularly know them as chakras, and how we can channelize our energies towards improving our daily life. Yes, it does not require you to be a gymnast. It does not require you to be in your fantastic fitness state of life. It doesn't need you to be super flexible. It just requires you to be open to a new experience. I would really love to share this less known aspect of yoga with you all, which is the world of chants, breath techniques, and simple movements that stimulate your energy centers. Our next session will deal with this mudra, chakra, and asana part of yoga. I would like to introduce you to my colleague Ms. Boski Sahani, who is our personal yoga trainer at Home Yoga Guru and a yoga teacher with 13 years of experience. She will take you on a very wonderful journey and help you experience and practice chants, breathing techniques, and simple postures of yoga. If you do it with her, you might get a little different experience of yoga. It is time for me to thank you, dear friends, for your patience and open heart. I hope you found the discussion interesting, and now please grab your space on the yoga mat for a light yoga session with my colleague Boski. Boski, over to you, and namaste from me, Blagodaria, and wish you a very happy and healthy experience of life.